start with Max Scherzer. Who wants to lead off? We'll start with Jeff in the front.
So now that it's here, how excited, anxious are you to get going after a month off?
Yeah, just trying to get back in the flow of things and, just get my routines and, I get the pitch. I'm, thrilled about that. So, one opportunity, go out there and get the pitch in the ALCS. So, this is what you dream of.
Let's go next. We'll go in the middle here.
Were you surprised at all by how quickly you were able to recover? And when you initially went down, did you see yourself coming back around this time?
Yeah, given that I was able to get back to actually playing catch within a week of the actual injury, that was a good sign. That was the longer time you have away from throwing a baseball, the longer it takes to ramp back up. So I was actually able to get back to a baseball pretty quick. When this injury happened, we were kind of in that 4 to 6 week window. You definitely knew the regular season was out of play. I think I took one day to feel bad about it, and then the next day I was back to grinding because I knew we have a team that can compete with anybody, and that if there's a chance to still come back, I'm going to do everything I can to put myself in position to make that on the 4 week side. And here we are. So, just glad you can never quit in baseball. You can never try to predict baseball. You got to go out there and every single day and do something about it. So, fortunately, that's playing right in my hand.
Go to back in the back there. Hannah.
Hey, anything different about coming back off an injury, knowing your first start back will be in the postseason versus when you're going back to the regular season?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different. I don't know how to answer that because I don't think there is an answer of trying to, tackle something like this. All I can do is go out there and give my all, go out there and compete as long as I can, listen to my arm, and that's all I can do is give everything I got for tomorrow.
What have you been doing during the games? Have you been talking to the other starters to sort of stay, I guess, not just involved, but specifically preparing for the Astros lineup?
Well, I'd say I've been in touch with everybody about all the teams. For me, this whole process is still being a good teammate this whole time of staying locked in, sharing different thoughts with everybody, hitters, pitchers, you name it, about different postseason experiences and different things that have happened that I've seen in the postseason ball of things to think of when you get to this stage. So as much as we're talking about the Astros and this and that, it's actually a lot more conversations wide range because of my experience in the postseason.
Go to Disha.
Hey Max, just besides your own competitiveness and desire to come back, how much of your motivation while ramping up also involved the point that the Rangers got you to make a start like tomorrow's for the postseason?
I don't know how to answer that. I come to the park, I do what I do. I'm here to, I go out there and pitch for my teammates, and go out there and compete to win. I don't know, if you want to try to start laying extra layers to this, I have no idea how to answer that. I try to keep it simple. So for me, it's go out there and compete and win.
We'll go to Evan in the front.
Okay, so I guess we'll go to different layers. You have won before. You have pitched in LCSs before. When the possibility existed that this team was going to be in the LCS or be in the postseason, and there was a possibility you were not going to be able to pitch, how did that hit you?
Yeah, like I said, I had one day where I was pretty frustrated. That next day, I was almost relieved. I got the news that it was a teres major strain. I wasn't going to need surgery. So, for a split second there, I was happy with the news. That it wasn't anything worse. Given how many injuries we've seen across pitchers this year, it's definitely a concern of mine. When I woke up that next day, I could tell something was deeper. So for when that first initial diagnosis was, just a teres strain, 4 to 6 weeks, I was, for one day, kind of relieved about it. Then after that, it's been grind to get myself back to this point to be able to go out there and take the ball again. So that's been my mentality over this past month.
So is there a way to quantify how much more precious this start is for you compared to other postseason opportunities?
all these postseason starts are precious. There's no one way to say about it. You're playing for a ring. When you get to this point in the year, like I said, this is what you dream of. This is all the sacrifices you make in your life, all the hard work you put throughout the off season is to get to this moment, to get to this spot. So here we are.
We'll stay on the front left.
Booch told us that you were beating him down pretty hard about getting back on the roster. How would you characterize or rate your peskiness or keep staying in his ear?
I was realistic. I was just having conversations with what I felt, what I could do, where I was in the process. If I was going to be able to even come back for the division series. We were having conversations about that. So, I want to pitch. I want the ball. That's how I tick. So, I'm always going to have conversations if I'm hurt to try to get back.
We'll go on the right back here.
Max, you've started playoff games with your team in almost any imaginable position, up, elimination game, game 7, what have you. Does your emotional intensity, do you find it at a higher level given whatever the team situation is at that point in time?
For which start?
Just if your team is leading or if your team is trailing, do you find yourself more amped up or more, focused or whatnot?
I don't know. It's postseason baseball. Every start means, everything's on the line for these postseason starts. So I don't know how you get any higher than postseason starts. So, that's where, that's the noise, what you're talking about, of trying to almost, are you giving credence to that? Are you falling for that trap to try to make it something that it's not? It's still 60 feet, 6 inches. You got to go out there and pitch and execute against a great lineup. So you don't have time to really think about all the exterior, headlines that are going on. You got to go out there and compete and win every single time.
And how impressed are you with what your teammates have been able to do these first couple rounds?
Yeah, we're playing good baseball. We got a good thing going. We're flowing. We're rolling. So just continue to keep it going. Now it's my turn to get back into the fray and go out there and compete and give it the best I got.
Go on the back right corner.
Max, two-parter, can you speak to the effort from the bullpen during this playoff run? And then I know you've only been here for one game as the home crowd, but what are you expecting tomorrow to see? What would you like to see from the Ranger fans?
Well, to see from Ranger fans, I've seen it a couple times here where they get pretty loud, especially in this indoor building. They can get pretty loud. So, especially with the state of this is a Texas battle, so it's going to be pretty loud tomorrow, no matter what's going on. So, I expect a pretty raucous atmosphere. What was the first part of your question again?
Can you speak to what you've seen from
the
teammates
bullpen.
out of the bullpen?
No, bullpen guys, they're constantly going up and down. There's times they get overused, and then they get killed, and then you guys want to crush them and say they're awful. But that's just the life of a reliever. For us, how I've always looked at relievers is if the starters go out there and do their job, pitch deep in the ball games and kind of manage their workloads and put them in the right spots and put them in the right roles, that's when they usually pitch their best. And frankly, we've gotten pretty good starting pitching throughout this whole postseason, and so that's why you're seeing guys solidifying the roles and go out there and have success. So I'm not surprised by it because I've seen these guys. These guys can really throw the baseball, and they've gone out there and given us quality outs and big outs when we needed it.
Go on the right.
Max, during this time, have you been able to take a step back and work on anything, or has it strictly been ramping back up to get to be back on the mound?
You're always tinkering with stuff, so you're always making little adjustments and trying to find different stuff. But the number one thing here is getting the pitch count back up and getting the arm in shape and get out of his injury.
And then when you throw a pitch now in a game, bullpen, whatever, it's tracked. You got all this data. Has any of that data helped inform you of where you are in this ramp-up process to let you know you're on the right track, or this needs to be tinkered with, or this needs to be changed, or is that not a part of that thought process at all, just as you've tried to build yourself back up?
Yeah, I don't lean on the data like that. I go more by feel. for me, my check mark on that was in my last sim game, in the 4th sim inning. The last batter I'm facing, I was stepping on every single fastball, every single off-speed pitch. I was trying to throw it at max effort to kind of see, like, all right, I am at 60-plus pitches here. Like, how's my arm going to respond when I go to step on it? And, it held up. So, that's just in the sim game there. So that gives me confidence to know, like, all right, now we have a better shot to be able to navigate, a start. Now, I have no idea what that means in a playoff start. I have no experience of coming off an injury list of month off and trying to make a playoff start. So, it's my best guess what I will be able to do, but no one really knows.
Go on the back left.
What have you appreciated about working with Mike Maddox in your career?
Just his perspective. He really works hard breaking down lineups and breaking down hitters and how you should pitch them, and he takes a great deal of pride in that. And really, to have him 2 years there in D.C. and then come back to him after a handful of years, like, the game has changed. I feel like even since 6 years ago of what everybody is thinking and how they attack you. So to get his perspective on different, the different, kind of minutia events that happen within a start of what he's seeing, where his mind's at, it's a great kind of check for me. I got my checks, but it's when you kind of compare notes with somebody else who's been, working with other pitchers and other guys to see what he thinks of you, see what his checks are, where you're off, where my thinking's not right. And so he's a great baseball mind for that, great pitching mind for that, and really would enjoy working with him.
Go over there on the right.
Max, you mentioned that you're heading to start and not knowing what to expect when you get out there. Have you ever had that happen in your career? Or is this a weird place where you don't know what to expect when you get out there tomorrow?
Well, coming back off the injury list for the first time, that was weird. Had no idea what that was going to be like. I think you can always come up with a scenario where I've never done this, and you got to go out there and pitch, or you never, pitch in windy weather, or pitch in freezing cold, or pitch in burning hot. Like, there's always some type of, scenario where you have a new set of circumstances that you got to deal with. It's how you handle what you're, kind of the hand you're dealt, and how you play it. So, I realize what I got going forward for tomorrow. I realize the challenges I have for tomorrow, but it's my job to navigate it and make the best of it.
We'll go on the front left.
Max, how impressed, or what are your thoughts on Nathan getting out of that 5th inning yesterday?
Oh, man. Yeah, especially the way that unfolded, a couple of hits and in there, like bases loaded, no outs, and then to be able to, bear down and get 2 consecutive strikeouts, a lot of times that's tough in its own right, but to get that 3rd out, that's tough as nails to do, especially, against Bregman, and for him to be able to get Bregman out, just shows you this type of stuff he has and where he's at right now with working with Jonah, his sequences and how he's pitching. I mean, he's just lights out right now.
The last one here in the front with Jeff.
So when you faced the Astros in September, you were dealing with the forearm thing. Is it possible that you're healthier now than you were then?
Yeah, physically I'm healthier, but I just don't have a pitch count. I don't know what my pitch count's going to be. Going in, in the regular season, yeah, you're built up for 100+ pitches. Right now, I don't know what that number is in a playoff.
All right. Thanks for coming in, Max.